Hey guys, it's Laurel. Today is Tuesday, April 11th. Not my normal filming day. I'm a few days late. Had some stuff going on over the weekend, kind of got me a little off my schedule, but I'm back. So, welcome to or welcome back, whichever one suits you. I'm glad you have stumbled upon me. Glad you're taking the time to spend with me today. So, Saturday, just quick little fun fact about me. Every once in a while, my back decides it wants to be 115 years old. So Saturday was that day. I got up, did my normal Saturday housekeeping, swept the floor, mopped the floor, vacuumed the floor, did a little dusting, did a little laundry. It was around lunchtime. My husband said, "Hey, you want to go get something to eat?" So of course I want to go get something to eat. So anytime he's home on Saturday, we run go get lunch. And we got in the car, drove to the restaurant, which is about a 20-25 minute trip. And when we got there, I about couldn't get out of the car. So I looked like a crazy person walking across the parking lot in the rain because it was pouring down rain, hunched over, looking like, again, I was 115 years old. Went in the restaurant. They sat us at one of the high top tables. That was very entertaining to see me get up in that seat. So we came home, sat down on the heating pad for the rest of the evening. Got up Sunday, back feeling a little better, still had a couple issues. We had breakfast at church before Easter service, had a great service, and then Sunday afternoon my family came up. My parents and my brother live about a little over an hour and 15 minutes, maybe something like that away. So they came up for Easter, made some pork tenderloin, it was delicious, and just kind of hung out for the rest of the day. So over the last couple days, it has continued to get better, but it has risen up. So it was in my shoulders and then the bottom of my neck this morning and the back of my neck. But I'm almost on the mend. So heating pads are great. And the great thing about heating pads is I can do my stitching while I'm sitting there on the heating pad. So, but anyway, enough about that. Had some exciting stuff happen over the last couple weeks. Not really very organized today, which is nothing different from any other video. So just going to kind of jump in and kind of share some stuff with you. I did have a great visit, not this past Saturday when my back was messed up, but the Saturday before. I have a friend who is a quilting buddy that I met through the quilt shop. Her name is Paula. She is an amazing quilter. She does fantastic stuff. I have never seen a single seam that did not match in her quilts. Everything she does is beautiful. I want to be Paula when I grow up. That's all I have to say about that. But anyway, Paula, I don't get to see her as much since our quilt store closed, but she is currently working at Pineapple. So I see her some down there, and then we keep in touch over Facebook and stuff off and on. So her niece was in town, and Paula had messaged me a while back and said that her niece was a cross stitcher, and when next time she came to town, she wanted to meet me. So she had come in once, and maybe she was there then when she texted, I can't remember. But anyway, I didn't get to see her that time, but she was here this past weekend, and they came over for a little bit. And let me just tell you, I have a new friend. Her name is Pam. We're going to spend a lot of time together. She's probably watching this thinking I'm a little crazy because I said that, but you just know when you meet somebody that you're going to like them and you're going to be friends. We spoke each other's language. We oohed and awed at the appropriate times. We watch a lot of the same FLOSSTUBE videos. She has a berry bag. I was a little geeked out over that. It was very exciting. So Paula put up with us rambling on about stuff that she had no interest in. And it was a good time. And it was good to catch up with Paula. It was great to have a new stitching friend. I'm very excited. Pam does go to retreats, and she's not afraid to drive. And I don't like to travel by myself. So hopefully we may have some upcoming retreats one day. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, if you're watching today, Pam, hey, can't wait till you come back. All right, so that's my 4-minute ramble about my life. Oh, hold on. One more small ramble. Another fun thing this week. I'm sure I have mentioned before, we have 2 huskies in our house. My husband has a husky. My son has a husky. We almost lost our mind last week and got a 3rd husky. The breeder that we got both of the dogs from had messaged my husband and my son and said that for health reasons she was having to get rid of the dogs that she currently had. She had a, I don't know that they were all from the same litter, obviously, but she had a group that was around 8 months old that she was having to rehome. And we had a couple days where we almost thought we were going to do that. And then we came to our senses and we didn't. But we did tell her if for some reason she was unable to find homes for them to call us back. So we haven't heard from her. I'm sure she will have no trouble homing these huskies. They're very beautiful. But that's my story about the dogs. So added a friend, almost added a dog. I don't know what we were thinking, but anyway, I do love our girls. They're a lot. If you are a husky owner, you understand. They're a lot. And one day I will show them to you, but today's not going to be that day. All right, so you didn't come here to listen to me babble about my new friends, my dogs. You want to see some stitching. So I do have a little teeny tiny little bit of quilting at the end. If you're here for the quilting, there is a little bit at the end, but I'm going to start with the stitching as always. So I have a finish that I'm very excited about. I've been working on this. I looked up, I think I put the first stitches in it in 2020. Yeah, 2020. It is a Shepherd Song by Plum Street Samplers. I showed this in the last video, and I said that I was hoping to have a finish, and I did. A couple days after the my last video, I was able to get it finished. Now, I did steal some time from my lunchtime stitch, and I've done that for a couple things, and that's okay. That's, you know, I have that prerogative, but I just decided I wanted to get this done. So I took a little bit of an extra time and worked on it, but here she is all done. And this is just folded in, just so I can hold it up. So this is on 14 count vellum by Picture This Plus. It is done all in the DMC conversion that she gives on the chart. At the time that I started this, I was not purchasing any of the overdyed flosses. I talked last time about the eyes. You know, they're not wonderful because it is on Ada versus linen. And I did have to redo the wording over here on the side. Now, I had originally graphed this out, and I think I mentioned that in the last video, and then I lost my graph. I don't know what I did with it. So I redid it, and then after I stitched it, I wish that I had done raw in lowercase, but I didn't wish that enough to pull it out and do it again. So I've heard several floss tubers say move forward, not backward, so that's what I did. I didn't really make any big changes. I did change the color of the dog because the dog was white and it wouldn't show up on my fabric. And I did not put the little back stitches in the flowers. So I'm very excited to have that one done and off my list. I am still working on Live on Little. That's been my lunchtime stitch that I was just talking about, that I had stolen some time away to work on some of these other projects, but I'll get back to that. That'll be my next big Plum Street. And I'm not doing it, I don't stitch on 14 count. I do not intend to stitch on 14 count anymore. That does not mean I won't, but if I'm going to do Ada, I like a 16 or 18 count. Right now is where I am in my stitching journey. I am continuing to mark in my book of days. Haven't filled out the last couple days, so I'll have to go back and kind of piece together, see if I can figure out what I did. But I feel like I've been a little bit all over the place with my stitching, but that's just part of it, and it's okay. That's part of the fun. And especially because, like I said, I've been kind of down on my back for a couple days, so that did make me spend a little more time stitching versus where I would have been here sewing some of those days. So I'm sorry for the zippers. I didn't open anything. I did pull my April focus whip number. I say I pulled. It was on the Facebook group, and I've talked in previous videos about what list I used to get those numbers. And what got pulled was Lincoln's Eagle by Teresa Kogut. I love her patterns. She will, well, I'll talk about later. She's one of the contenders for my Mania thought process. But I am doing this on a piece of 28 count Monaco that I coffee tea dyed. And when I showed it before, I told you I coffee tea dyed this to death. So it did shrink up quite a bit. Or some. I don't want to say quite a bit, but it did shrink up some. This is where I am. When I pulled it out, this wing right here, I only had one little section of the white filled in. I had a little bit of the goldish color to finish, so I've done a pretty good bit of the wing. There was like a big gap up here in the rum raisin that I finished, and I filled in some of the blue around these letters. It was over half done, the blue around it, but it was kind of choppy looking. So I really like how it's looking. I love this piece. Like when she was showing this, and I seem to do this with her pieces, when she shows something I fall in love with it, I just cannot wait to get it in my hand. And then I get it in my hand and it takes me 3 years to stitch it. So I don't understand what's wrong with me, but I love his head up against those stars. It's just, oh, so pretty. I do think part of my time lapse of getting this done, I guess, or lack of getting it done, when I got to the shield right here, when you look at the pattern, the pattern is more elongated in the shield. And I looked at it for a little bit and I was like, I messed up. What did I do? And I recounted. I was like, I cannot believe I'm off so much. Why does it not look like the pattern? Well, it was done on linen on the pattern. I did it on an even weave. So it is going to be a little bit different. And it's not going to be sitting up right next to it stitched on a piece of linen. I'm only doing it this one time. So anyway, so hopefully I would like to get this done this month. I'm trying really hard to like push and get every little bit of time in on it that I can, because I'm very excited to have last month's focus piece done. I feel like if I can get one done, I'm not going to get them all done for the year, but I feel like if I can get a few of them done, I'll feel accomplished and feel like I was able to make some progress with my process. So and I am using, it's not very pretty, but I am using the called for flosses, and it's a mix of Weeks Dye Works and DMC. I do like them on the floss rings. I just think they're pretty. They don't hang all pretty like everybody else's, but I learned a very important lesson, and I'll talk about it in a little bit when I get to it, about being organized with my floss, because I made a mistake, and it was because I was not organized with my floss. And even this one, when I was I had it out last night stitching, and I have like 3 things in this bag, and there was a whole ring of floss that didn't go with any of the projects that were in the bag. So I was like, what have I done? Like, where did this come from? I had finished that project, taken it out, put it in my stack to be fully finished, and I never took the floss out. So goals for this year, maybe to get a little more organized with that. Now, this next piece I did not work on since the last video. It's one of my Whipco pieces. The only reason I'm showing you this chart again is because today at lunch I watched my last video to see what I had shown and what I hadn't. And when I showed this chart last video, I said that this chart was called All Hallows Eve, and it was by Quaker Pumpkins. That is incorrect. This chart is called Quaker Pumpkins, and it is by Hello from Liz Matthews. I'm telling you, like, some days I don't know my name. I just don't know my name. But I should be able to show you in the next video that I have done some on that, because my Whipco process is to do an hour of stitching on my whips that are not listed as a focus whip. I just have lots of words. I am just babbling. I'm sorry. It's been a day today, and my husband's going to be home in a little bit, and I'm trying to get this done before dinner, and I'm just all out of sorts because I'm not filming on my my normal weekend. So this is the piece I would like to talk about. The frog has been to see me a couple times since I last saw you, and I'm not very happy about that. The frog doesn't come see me very often. I am very paranoid about the frog coming, and I am very much a landmark stitcher. Like, I won't just count that row. I have to count that row, and then I'll count from the top, and then I'll count from this motif and from this word, and just to make sure that I'm not messing anything up. This again is not a piece that I stitched on this time, but I did some unstitching on this one, so I'm just going to fess up about it. This is Plum Street Samplers, Penny Autumn. I love this so much I cannot even tell you. I'm stitching this on a piece of Picture This Plus. It may be a 28, it may be a 32. Lagana. It is super, super tight. If I was doing this now, I would do it with one strand of floss, but I started it with two. I love it, but I want it done. I was so excited because I had the whole house done. The whole house. If you see right now, the whole house is not done because I did not have my floss labeled. I had two projects in this bag. One of them used, it may have been ecru, and the other one was the white I was using. And I don't know if it's B5200 or 3865, I can't remember, but I had stitched the house a while back, and I was so excited. It's done. It's beautiful. It's done. And I'd pulled some stuff out of the bag when Pam was here, and we were talking about fabric and whatnot, and I hope I didn't show her this. If I did, Pam, I'm so sorry that I'm colorblind. But I was kind of going back through the bags, kind of situating my stuff, and I looked, and I was like, why does that look the different color? Look like a different color, because it was a different color. So, pulled it out. And you can see, my holes where it's stretched. So hopefully, because those holes are already there, it'll go a little quicker for me to put the right floss back in. And that one, I'm so upset that I don't have that one done. Again, it's just ridiculous that it's taken me so long to do. And this is what it looks like. And it is the floss in it is B5200 that I should have been using. Okay, and then next, just because my new friend was here and we were discussing, she stitches on linen. She told me not to be scared of linen. And I don't know what it is. I can watch people all day long that say, oh, linen's fine. And people stitch on, 40 count and 46 count and 56 count or whatever, like these crazy high counts. And I'm like, I'm just a little scared. I don't know. But she was here and she was in my living room. She said, don't be scared. So I said, okay. So I got my linen piece back out. This is Hannah Hetherington by From the Heart, Needle Art by Wendy. I love this. I want to do all three of these pieces. This one is done. This one, I ordered linen. It's a 32 count. Ordered the silks. Now, I don't have a great amount done on this still from the last time that I showed it. But it's linen, and I did a little bit, so I wanted to show you. So here it is. And it is a little bit ghosty. Probably just because it shows a little bit better. Just because it is a 32 count, not like a 36 or a 40 where it'll really pop out. But I don't care because I want to enjoy it. I love this. It was my birthday stitch from last year. And I didn't want to stress. And it's big. So I'm fine with starting with the 32. I do think I'm going to go ahead, not right away, but next time I order some stuff, I'm going to order a small piece of 36 and do a small project just to see how that works, because I was told not to be scared, so I'm not going to be scared. Alright, the next thing I worked on was, again, Teresa Kogut. I had shown this as a start in my last video, This is on a piece of 32 count platinum Lugana. Let Love Rain is the large chart. I was watching someone today. She's a brand new floss tuber. She just has her first video out this week. Maybe Mrs. Smith Stitches, and she's doing this piece. She's doing it on a higher count, and it's still going to be big, but just super pretty. So I was very excited that somebody else was working on this too. I'm using the called for colors, the DMCs. There is one Weeks Dye Works, which is Oscar. It has a DMC equivalent that you could have used for that. I probably should have done that because it's all the border and all the green. Sorry. And it's a lot, but it's okay. I started with Oscar, so I'll just finish with Oscar. So last video, I had this flower, part of this flower, and a little bit of this green. So I did a little bit of the inner border. I did some more of the outer border. And I'd almost forgotten about it after I said in the last video that anything I had started this year, I was keeping, you know, a little bit in my rotation, and it wasn't just getting lost, shuffled away. And then over the weekend, I was like, what can I work on? Because I'm just sitting here. And I was like, oh, I haven't even had that out since the first weekend I worked at it. So I got that back out and worked on it. And again, I love Teresa Kogut. So it's some happy stitching. All right, here's another one that I've stolen some lunchtime stitching away from my Plum Street piece. This is Love Sampler. I feel like I've been working on this for a while. But I love it. I mean, it's very enjoyable to work on. I'm enjoying it a lot. So this is where I am. I just kind of have a thread hanging, so I'm sorry about that. But I was able to finish up the top, all the leaves on the top. I did the second key. I did the entire bottom row, the very bottom, which I put an extra stitch in here. There's supposed to be a little gap, but it's okay, I'm not taking it out. I started the numbers and I started the wording right here. I did put some more leaves down the side of the flowers. They're not completely done, but I'm probably about halfway done with the leaves on that side. It is also a piece that the frog came to visit. Somehow on this side, I think this leaf and this leaf, I did in the same pattern. I was looking at one or the other, and I duplicated the leaf because they're close, so I had to go back and fix that. But that is on a piece of 28 count Lugana. It was a gray color and a coffee tea dyed it. And again, that's Love Sampler by Artful Offerings. I'd sent out to a couple people, kind of hoping somebody would like jump on board and stitch it with me, but I haven't seen anybody currently stitching it, so maybe somebody will jump on the bandwagon, I don't know. The next piece I'm doing is out of the Summer Memories book by Susan Aki. And it is called Free and Brave. I knew that this would be the first cross-stitch piece I would do out of this book, because as soon as they showed the models, I was like, yes, please, I will be doing that. There are several quilts I want to do. I had her also out of here also, but that's for after camp coming up. We'll talk about this. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count Brash Lugana by Picture This Plus. And I love how the white pops on that color. I love hot air balloons. When I was a little girl, we used to go to my grandparents in the summer, and they had this big field behind their house. And every summer there was like this big, I guess it was like a hot air balloon festival, and they would just come, and all day long you would see the balloons taking off, and it was just, oh, I just loved watching it. It was such a good memory. Now, don't get me wrong, I do not want to go up in a hot air balloon. My feet need to be on the ground. I don't want to go up in one, but I will sit and look at them all day long. We gone on vacation one year, and they were inflating one or whatever. I don't know if that's the right term, but I was like, oh, we have to sit here until it takes off. And we sat there forever, and it never did take off. And I know everybody else that was with us was like, Laurel, we really don't want to see this balloon as much as you. I am not using the pattern calls for, I think, Aurifil. I am not using that. I pulled my own colors. I am using, ooh, this is messy, 3865, 760 for my pink, 3328 for my dark pink, 3755 for my light blue, 3750 for my dark blue, 4998 for my red, my gray, 844. My green is possibly going to be 3012. I haven't committed to that yet. And my brown, 3862 DMC. So, which, you know, it's red, white, and blue. So that's, you know, not too hard to pull some colors for that. But I really like how they pop on that brash color. I think I'm going to get some more of this brash in some bigger pieces. So I think some samplers would look really pretty on that. Last time I ordered some, I just ordered some small pieces to try to see what they would look like. And then the last thing I worked on is Wildflowers by Kathy Barrett. There are two more Kathy Barretts that are like right here, like they are like right here on the back of my head, like wanting to be done so bad. And I watched, she's not new, but she's new to me. I found Lady Lugana on FLOSSTUBE, and she actually showed one of them in her last video, or not like that she was working on it, but she was thinking about starting it. Ooh. If she starts it, I'm not going to be able to like refrain. If I see somebody actively stitching it, I'm going to have to. But I'll talk about that later. So I know to you it probably doesn't look like too much more progress, but I did get a lot of fill-in done on the leaves. Started at the other side of the branches, and I was going to do all the outline and then just come back and do the fill-in, but I decided I wanted to use it as some of my TV stitching time and get some of that done. So all right, so that's all of my progress for stitching, but I do have a little bit of haul. I kind of have a lot of haul, but that's okay because this is what I like, so it's okay. When my mom came up, she always brings me some goodies. She knows that I'm just down this cross stitch rabbit hole, and she was cleaning out some stuff, and she found some fabric that she's not going to use. She is, I don't think she's done anything on linen. I think she's pretty much an Ada stitcher. So she found some that she brought me. This is a Lugana, and it is the pre-coffee tea dyed, or I don't know that they call it that, but it doesn't have it on the label, but this is the color it comes in. And I'll use this because I really like it. I don't know, maybe some smalls, maybe some samplers, I don't know. But I like how it feels in your hand. I like the weight of it. I did frame something with it, and it was a little bulky when I framed it myself, but you know, if I take it to Hobby Lobby or something, I can frame it, it'll be fine. And then she also brought me a piece of 32 count linen. I don't know how old this is. I don't know that you can get this brand anymore, but it was on clearance. It was originally $7.49. It was on clearance for $4.50. And it's a big piece. It's 20 by 27. And again, it's a 32 count. I don't know. It says Lana. I don't know if that's the color, but it said it's Belgium linen. I don't know, but you know what? Linen. It's gray. It doesn't have any modeling or anything, but it's real pretty gray. I thought maybe Land That I Love, the big Teresa Kogut. That might be pretty. I got some Plum Streets. I don't know, but you know, linen. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. All right, so after Paula and Pam had left Saturday, me and my husband went and got some lunch, and then I was all like excited because I was talking stitchy stuff. So we went to my LNS. Somebody had messaged me and told me that she did have a lot of the Plum Street sampler, the new Plum Street sampler. So I went over, picked up a few things. So I needed some floss. So I got some Schoolhouse Red, and I needed some Palomino because I want to start Birds of a Feather. And I think the first color is Palomino. So in my mind, I was like, if I just get that, I can start it. Came home, left it in the bag, didn't start it. Because that's what we do. All right, so then she did not have this, I know, for some reason. Like every time I go put it in my cart and then I don't hit buy fast enough, it disappears. She didn't have it. So I'll eventually get it. But I'm a little bummed because that was like one of my top 2 that I wanted. And I still don't have it after I've been buying all these other pieces. I got Starbarks, and I wouldn't have necessarily, I do have all the like dog ones that Paulette has done, and I may not have necessarily gotten this one because I'm not a coffee drinker, but my daughter loves Starbucks, and her little baby is a Doxy, so had to have that. This one, ooh, this was kind of a sleeper for me. I mean, I knew I liked it, but the more I look at it, the more I'm just like, ooh, I really want to start this. I love this down here where the green is just kind of blended in, just very subtle. Ooh, pretty, 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 pretty. And then I really want to start this one too, but I'm not going to start this one until I finish Penny Autumn. Famous last words. Penny Spring. So I hope that we're going to get a Penny Summer and a Penny Winter as well. Is my hope. And probably they'll come out and I'll still be working on the other one. And then Blackbird, Crowns and Shields. So I got this and I was like, you know what? I'm doing the red one. And then I was like, no, I'm going to do the colored one. And then I was like, no, I'm going to do the red one. No, I'm going to do the colored one. So here it sits, no decision made. But isn't it? Oh, it's just dreamy. I just love it, love it. So one or the other will get done. I think Sherry Colorado Cross Stitcher is the one that I saw that had started it. And just, I mean, it was just a little teeny tiny start. And it was just like, oh, it's just beautiful. And then this one was on my maybe list. Anytime something's on my maybe list and I show up at a store and it's there in person, it becomes a definite. So Nature by Teresa Kogut. I don't know why, but these funky birds are just, they're just neat. I don't know. And again, I did it to myself because I said, I don't stitch birds. I'm not on the bird thing. And then again, birds. All right, and then one last thing that I have, and this is not from the store. I did get some freebie charts from the store that they were passing out at market. So she gave me some of those, and that was super nice. I really like her, the lady that runs our store. Sometime in the last 2.5 weeks, I was watching Crossed by Floss, and she was talking about, she does Mirabilias, and a lot of people that I watch stitch Mirabilias. I don't necessarily stitch Mirabilias. I'm fascinated by them though, and I'm very intrigued, and I love seeing everybody's work on them. I just don't know, with everything else that I have in my realm right now, there's just not one that I'm like, I would stitch that and I would hang it up. I would stitch them all day long because I think they're pretty, and I love a challenge. Like, I'm all about a challenge. The bigger the project, the better. Just throw it at me and I'll spend 100 years doing it, but it's okay. But she was showing some mirabilias, and she showed a small mirabilia, just a little square piece, and she had mentioned that they have these on their website. So if you go onto Mirabilia's website and you go under free designs, they have these little like mini mirabilias. So I was like, you know what? I may do that. So I got this one. I think they're all cherubs. This one is Cherub with Tree by Nora Corbett. It's pretty much full coverage. Now, something that I am also very intrigued by these days is diagonal stitching. I follow Blitz Stitch on Instagram, and I just started watching a FLOSSTuber that I cannot remember the name of. I'm so sorry. But she does diagonal stitching. So I've been watching all these videos about diagonal stitching. There's like multiple like processes amongst the process of diagonal stitching. I want to, at one point in my life, do a HAID, and I have been stalking the website for 2 years, and I keep changing my mind about which one I want to do, but I haven't committed yet because it's a lot, and they're all confetti stitches, and I feel like if I could do this diagonal stitching, it would make the process smoother and I could get through it. So my thought process is this little one, and this is, what's the count on this? It's a secret. 92 by 85. So my thought process was, I can practice diagonal stitching with this little freebie and see if that's something that I do want to do, or if I need to go down a different avenue with a HAID and see if that's what I want to do. So if you have stitched a HAID, or you are stitching a HAID, I would love some input from you. What kind of stitching process do you use with that? Are you a diagonal stitcher? Do you do all one color? Are you a page at a time? Are you, do you grid your fabric? Do you buy the pre-gridded? Like, I'm very, very, very intrigued and interested in this process. Plans for stitching. I'm going to continue working on the things that I've showed you that are in process. There may be a start before next time, because I'm really having a hard time not starting these couple things that I was talking about, the Kathy Barracks, and I may just go totally off kilter. I don't know. If I finish the hot air balloon, I may pull out my Teresa Kogut's Americana cross stitch that she released last year that I keep talking about that I haven't done anything out of. I might possibly start pulling from there, but we'll see. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the cross stitch. I'm going to go on to the quilting. There's not a lot of it, and as I always say, I do encourage you to stay just to get a little taste of some other crafty world endeavor. I try to watch when people have mixed media, I guess, floss tubes. Knitting is very intriguing to me. I don't think I will ever be a knitter. I tried it one time, it didn't work, but I love the stuff that they knit. I love those little like cows that they do, and the shawls. I don't wear shawls, but I love them. I don't know why. So you might see something that triggers something, fascinates you. I don't know. So I will say the bulk of my quilting is haul. I have done very little actual sewing over the last couple weeks. I have a couple things that I have left to get for camp. Camp is coming up end of this month, so I will have one more video before camp, and I'll talk more. I'll show you what projects I plan on taking to camp. I'm also, for cross stitch, next time I'm going to talk about Mania and my choices for Mania. And then hopefully I will have work also in my cross stitch world on those two whip go pieces. Words are so hard this week. I was having a conversation with somebody at work today that I've just stopped in mid-sentence so many times this week where the words just disappear into the air. I don't know. All right, so back to quilting. So I'm going to show you like my haul pieces and then the little bit of actual stitches that I put in something. Today, I got my American Patchwork and Quilting magazine. I've said before, it's my favorite magazine. It's the only quilting magazine that I currently subscribe to. It doesn't mean I don't buy other quilt magazines, but this one always has something in it that's intriguing to me. I have yet to get an issue that there's not a quilt that I want to make. So if I was totally done and all my quilting world had nothing going on, this is the one I would start out of this magazine. Firecracker. Now, it's no secret, I love me some patriotic. Now, in quilting, I love anything with a star. I think that is so very pretty. I may not would do like these greens. For me, that might be like a lighter blue versus that tealy aqua color, but I love that pattern. It's very different, very striking. If that was done and hung on your wall, that would be super pretty. So I had seen on, I don't know, like Facebook or something, they were posting this was on newsstands, but I just got mine today. I thought we were supposed to get them before they were out, but if it's not out, it will be shortly. And there's a couple other like really cute quilts in here too. This is the little, I'll show you, this is like the little page of what's in there. But I just love that one. I think it's so pretty. All right, so the other day, you know, I say this all the time, Instagram, FLOSSTUBE, YouTube gets me in all kinds of trouble, makes me want to buy stuff. I think this was an Instagram post. I was not currently following this lady. It was just a hashtag or something I was following. She came up. I don't know why I haven't seen her. I don't know how long she's been around. But if you haven't seen her, you need to go look up Then Came June. If you go on to her Instagram, go into the link for her website, you can get this pattern free. She's doing a sew along with this. She shows it in a couple different, she has a video, she shows it in a couple different colorways. It's so simple but so pretty all at the same time. It's called Peanut Butter Quilt. And this is on my maybe list to do after camp. I thought about getting this stuff to do at camp because I have an idea that I'll talk about later on when it gets closer to time that I think would just be stunning in this. Because everything's stunning and beautiful in quilt world. I did get my mini charm pack club from Fat Quarter Shop. And they're all cute. I have yet to get one that I don't like. This is Simply Delightful. And I'd shown, I'm pretty sure this is the fabric that's used in the selfie quilt Jolly Bar that I showed last time. They're just fun, super fun. Sweet Liberty. Some more red, white, and blues. Pretty, 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 pretty. That may need to be a project bag for my patriotic stitches. This I love. Stateside. We do a, I know I've probably said it multiple times, but we do a road trip with my brother-in-law and his family every year. And I just feel like I need to do a quilt in that. And then this is Bleu de France by French General. And I love French General too. Like all blues. When Paula was here, she was talking about doing like blue and white quilts and putting them all on a quilt ladder. She showed me a picture that she saw and I was like, oh, yes, blue and white. I love a two-color quilt anyway, so. So like I said, quilt camp's coming up in a couple weeks. Can't go to quilt camp without some new shirts. Jordan Fabrics. Didn't know she had her own t-shirts. I really like her, Donna Jordan. If you don't watch her videos, she will show you a quilt like start to finish, from picking the fabric, cutting it out, assembling it, picking your quilt pattern, actually quilting it, putting the binding on. I mean, in the video, it's start to finish. You start at the beginning of the video with fabric, and you end the video with a completely finished quilt. So I really like to watch her. And she had done, she showed this. I don't know if it was a recent video or I just recently saw it. And I was like, oh, I have that pattern. Now, she did it in totally different colors, but I was like, ooh, I want to do that. I want to do that. So I pulled it out because I was going to put it in my camp stack. And I was like, no, because this is what I do. And then I take all these projects to camp, and then I don't get them done. Side note, if anyone knows where my swoon pattern is from camp, that I want to take those fabrics right there to camp that I took last time that I didn't do, I sure do wish you would tell me where they are, because I came home and I put it away. I have the swoon and I have the mini swoon. I have 2 other swoon patterns. I have like this, like swoon patchwork and swoon 16 or something. I have both those, but I didn't take them to camp. So I feel like these other 2 are together somewhere. Okay. I had to order something for camp. Like I said, I'm just trying to buy, not only for camp, I'm sorry, I'm moving my board, but I have a layer cake that I think I showed you last video, that needs in order to do the pattern, it's easier if you have pre-cut 10-inch squares. So I have a bolt of this. This is Kona Snow. I have a bolt because you need some yardage to do it also. So I went online to Fat Quarter Shop. They were out of stock. So I went over to Missouri Star. They had it in stock. So I bought it. But while I was over there, this was on sale. This is American Dreams. Riley Blake. I'm so sorry, I can't see the designer name because my eyes are bad, but red, white, blue. Jelly rolls. When Paula was here, she said, so did you join a club for all your jelly rolls? No, I can't quit buying them. I really like them. They store really easy. They're pretty. They look good. I did pre-order the Jelly Roll book that Fat Quarter Shop is coming out with. And today she put a little mini video out of her top 8 or top 10 Jelly Roll patterns. That's going to be a problem for me. So I ordered those 2 things, and then it would have been like $6 to ship it. But if I bought $4 more for the stuff, my shipping was free. Well, obviously, I had to do that. So they had some of their mod block books on, I don't want to say clearance because it didn't make out like they were going away, but on sale for like $2.50. And I have several of their books I got in their little like auto ship like way back when. And then I don't know, my card expired and I didn't put a new card on there or something, so they quit coming. And I was like, I already have a ton of them down here on my shelf. Like it's fine, I'll be okay without any. But then I bought 2 more. All right, so then I've been on this Kim Deal kick and I've been talking about her, and I love all her stuff. I still haven't done any more on the spool quilt. I am like so behind on my sew-alongs, but it's okay because I know it would be and it doesn't bother me. It's fine. But I did go online. I had watched Crystal Quilts. She has a quilting YouTube channel. I haven't seen a lot of her stuff, but in one of her videos she had ordered back when Martingale had announced that they were going to quit publishing. She had ordered some mystery boxes of their books, I wish I had known about that because I would have done it, but she had like a little unboxing of it. So I went on Martingale's site just to see if by chance they still had any of that left. And of course they didn't. You can pretty much just get ebooks at this point. But while I was on there, I saw 2 Kim Deal quilt books, and I was like, I don't have those, and I don't know what's going to happen with all these books if we're never going to see them again, if you have to do an ebook, whatever. So I did go ahead and order these 2. Simple Friendships 2 and Simple Patchwork. I do need to go ahead and look and see what books. Oh, this is Kim Deal and Joe Morton. That's the 2 of them together. But I do need to go see which books I have of hers and which I don't, because I do want all of the Simple Whatnot books, and I have a couple, but I need to see if there are any more floating around, because I don't know how that works, if everybody's buying the rights back to their books, if they're going to reprint under somebody else. I don't know. So now I'll show you the little bit of quilting I actually did over the last couple weeks. That's it. 2 blocks. These are the Socialites blocks. Numbers 20 something and 20 something. I think maybe this week is the last block coming out, or maybe next week. I'm like 8-ish blocks behind. I'd wanted to be caught up and not take those to camp, but they'll probably wind up going to camp because. So then I was talking about the Hexie pillow last time, and I did. If you watch my last video, I am going to regroup on my background piece for that Hexie pillow. I think I'm going to use one of the grunge fabrics that's in that line. I know you probably didn't need to know that, but I felt like I need to say it. But I got that in my car and my glue to do it at camp. So as I was working on that, I was like, I started a Hexie project way back when. I never finished it. I like it, but I never finished it. I decided I wanted to do some Hexies. So I got like the puncher. I had a bunch of 2.5-inch squares that I had cut out for another quilt, and I was like, I can just use some of those. So I decided to try English paper piecing with some of those squares. They're batiks. They're pretty. I love them. They were a lot of fun to do. Batiks are probably the worst fabric to begin English paper piecing on because they're very thick, and I probably would have enjoyed the process a whole lot more had I used just regular cottons. But aren't they pretty? So my original thought for these was to join them not in the traditional way with a whole nother Hexie, but kind of, I don't know if that'll show up, kind of butt them up against each other like this, where there's like a little triangle between them, in like a dark navy blue. So it would make triangles here, and then at the ends right here, no, it would make diamonds here, and right here at the ends it would make little triangles. And when I say little, I mean little. So I think I had like 5 of these put together, and I was determined. Like, my family had come up one time when we were looking through my unfinished projects, and my dad was like, why would you do it like that? Why don't you just do it this other way? And I was like, no, because this is how I want to do it. I would never get it done. I just wouldn't. And that blue is like a really pretty batik that I would kind of like to use for some other projects, but I was kind of hoarding it up for these pieces. So I took all that apart. I went through my batik stash and cut out some squares. I did a little test on one, sewed it down. Sorry, that's a little crooked. And I thought, that would be pretty. I'd kind of seen there, I feel like a couple years ago there was some kind of sew along that did something along these lines. So I have two background colors so far. So one's a little darker, one's a little lighter. And I thought about alternating them and doing this. I don't know if there will be sashing between it, if there won't be sashing between it. I don't know if I'll set them on point. I don't know, I'm just kind of playing with them at this point. But I felt like I have enough of them. I mean, I've got quite a few that I just feel like it could be a quilt very easily. And these are some I just kind of laid out. I really like the blues. But I would like to, if this like works out and is pretty, I would like to do some more English paper piecing. Just not with batiks. I'd like to maybe do like French General. I think would be really pretty with those soft hues. And you can see the stitching between, because it was, I probably wasn't using the right thread, and the needle was probably not right and all that kind of stuff. But I just thought, I need to do something with those, so I'm gonna get them out. I think I either need to do a little quilt and take a 2 or 3 out, or I need to go a little bit bigger and make 5 or 6 more. So we'll see. Just something to kind of work on going forward. So I still have multiple projects, which I always will in my quilt world, to work on. So I'm going to kind of fine tune those, see what I can get done before camp. I do hope to get more sewing done in this 2-week span than I did in the last 2-week span, but you just never know what kind of mood is going to hit me. So I will see you again in 2 weeks with updates. Again, my plan is to show you my mania choices next time, and to show you camp projects, and then progress on all the things that are going on currently. So again, glad you stopped by. Glad you chose to spend a little bit of time with me. Hope it wasn't too badly. And I will see you in really like a week and a half, because I'm kind of halfway through the week. So I will probably, I don't know, I may post this tonight, I may post it in the morning, I don't know, but you won't care because when you're watching this, it's already posted. But anyway, again, if you're doing a Haid, let me know. I'd like some advice on that. Any thoughts that you have on that? Enjoy your friends. I'm very excited to have my new stitchy friend and reconnect with my quilting buddy. And if you have that person or you have that group close to you, definitely reach out in the community and share the love of stitching with everybody. And I will see you in a week and a half. Bye, guys.